Derren, thank you very much for joining us once again. A busy
Pleasure.
few days for you, no doubt. So Derren, Head of Valuations for CAP HPI. The big question on everybody's lips, my phone keeps ringing about it. I'm sure yours has been ringing off the hook. What's the deal with CAP HPI and valuations for lockdown? Are you going to be changing them this time round?
Yeah, the phone's been very busy. I knew it would be as soon as the announcement was made on Saturday after what happened with the previous lockdown. We're in a very different situation this time round. Businesses are better set up to trade online, both to consumers, and the auctions are better set up as well. And I think the legislation is just different this time round as well, that people can still go to work. The industry is open. So we feel that we will get the volume of sales records, plus there's retail evidence as well, for us to still be able to move valuations. We're supremely confident that the valuations will be kept going this time round. If the situation completely changed, no one was buying vehicles, then we will review it. But as things stand, we will certainly be business as usual. I've got a team of experienced editors who take a responsible and pragmatic approach, and we will be moving values as we've been doing over the last few months.
Because we heard from the auction houses yesterday, a couple of them at least, saying that they are going to continue operating, still going to be operating online. You're not going to be able to go and view the cars at the auction halls. Obviously, most of them have been well set up for the summer for online auctions, but it does mean that people will still be able to buy stock. They're also saying that they're going to be able to collect those cars for auction, deliver cars to dealers. That was a massive problem, wasn't it, beforehand? So do you think the fact that people have basically set themselves up, especially in the wholesale market, for a lockdown, that we're better prepared now?
Without a doubt, we've moved forward. The industry's moved forward from where it was so much in a few months. It's probably moved forward equivalent of 3 to 5 years, something like that. And it's everybody will be able to trade online. All of the auctions. I sit on the calls with NAMA members, and I was really sort of impressed with how well they did very early on, switching things online. Obviously, some of them have opened up for some of them have opened up for auctions, some of them have opened up for viewing. That will have to switch back to just being purely online, but they're all very well established to do that. And yeah, all credit to them, and people will be able to buy cars. And we've seen already, we're only a Tuesday, but we've seen a strong week already of people, of dealers buying cars from the auctions.
Because I've heard from a couple of dealers today that there are some changes in prices. I heard that the Motability fleet had been actually put down in prices. So, I mean, have you seen any of that? I mean, some people have gone out there and thought, right, actually, now's a good time to buy.
I think that there are going to be people changing their prices. There are going to be some volumes coming through from extensions and things like that. I can't really comment on individual businesses and what they're selling for, but yeah, there will be companies that are selling cars. That's obviously entirely up to them if they wish to move stock, but there will be opportunities to go and buy cars at those prices. We get our data from a variety of different sources, and as I said, we take a pragmatic approach, so we're not reflecting whether data comes from one or two sources. We're reflecting it across the piece, so we won't be reducing our values based off individual companies that do reduce their prices. But yeah, there's certainly some opportunities out there, and why not go and buy them now? Because we all know what happened at the end of the last lockdown. Prices went up. So there could be some opportunities. The market does tend to be strong in January. Now could be a good time to go out and buy, and especially if consumers are still buying cars. We had seen some prices drop away anyway during October, moving into November. So those previous increases had sort of turned a corner. There were prices that were dropping, and we dropped our values just over 2% moving into November, and we did expect that to carry on anyway. So it's no real surprise if values do drop. It's not necessarily down to the lockdown. It's down to a variety of reasons. Economic circumstances, obviously, for some people, but also some of those pent-up demand reasons that why the market has been so strong. They were never going to last forever. So people buying a car to avoid public transport, that was never going to last forever. The pent-up demand from the last lockdown was never going to last forever. I think people upgrading to buy maybe a toy and because they haven't been on holiday, I think that will die down as well. So all of these reasons, maybe the one that will still stay is that obviously people buying a car out of necessity, but also maybe people downgrading and buying a smaller car. So there will be still some demand factors there that could keep it a little bit stronger. But I do think values will drop away a little bit, but we'll see. We base it purely off the evidence.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because some of those things that you've mentioned there did drive up prices for sure. And I think one of those ones that will probably continue is the fact that people can't go out there who are still in work, go out there and spend any money. They certainly can't go out to the restaurants now. They've been banned from going on holidays. Those winter breaks to Dubai that everybody enjoys in the most trade are not going to happen, are they? So there will be a lot of people, a lot of consumers out there that are probably going to have a little bit more cash. So what is your gut feeling, Derren, when it comes to these prices? Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I sort of do. What do you think is going to happen during lockdown? Are they going to go up or are they going to go down?
My personal view, I think they're going to go down. I don't think the prices will go up at the moment. I think it will be a bit of a run into Christmas now. Obviously, there are people, as you say, that will have some spare cash again, but people do tend to be more careful this time of year. There are honestly a lot of people losing their jobs as well. So the economic impact of this is starting to feel a little bit realer, I think. But values do tend to come down in the final quarter anyway, and we can't get away from the fact that used car prices are high. If people have been selling vehicles at the price they've been selling at, businesses that have built residual values in, they would have been expecting them to drop, and they've been going up. So we've got values that are, on average, values are around 3 to 4% higher than they were a year ago. You'd have expected them to be 3 to 4% lower. So there's still a little bit of room in there for values to drop and for businesses still to come out of it the right side with their predictions and their forecasts. So I think values will drop. As you said, there are businesses that are out there that have reduced their prices. If others follow suit, there's obviously more than one that are out there reducing prices at the moment, and it happened before the last lockdown as well. So if businesses are reducing, then there will be some cars out there that are cheaper, and others may follow, and that can drive the market down. We purely reflect. We get accused of driving prices down, but we don't do that. We purely reflect what we're seeing, and my gut feeling is that values will come down towards between now and Christmas. Not dramatically. They're not going to drop off a cliff, and we'll still be in a better place than we would have thought would have been a year ago, even without the pandemic, with regards to used car values. And then there could be a bit of a recovery in January. So,
I mean, January is normally pretty strong anyway, isn't it? When many dealers come back to work and start buying up stock that they haven't done during December. But what about those? What would you say to those dealers that are facing lockdown from Thursday, that some of them won't be able to operate a click and collect model because they simply are not set up for it, and they'll be worried that their stock is going to be losing value? I mean, what would your advice be to those dealers? What would you say to them?
I think what they need to do is, I think last time we were saying hold firm on your prices, don't adjust them, stick to your guns. I think this time there are others out there buying. They've got to take a decision on whether they need to reduce their prices. They certainly don't need to completely knock them dramatically, but they may need to make some small adjustments to prices, because we've seen the trade market coming down. Trade comes down before retail generally, and I think what's happened is people would be concerned to pay high prices trade for cars that may come down retail. So you may have to adjust some retail prices down. We've seen adjustments down on average between £200–300. I think there were some that have been adjusting for a few weeks now, even before this announcement on Saturday. So I would be saying maybe adjust them down slightly, but also it's not going to come dropping off a cliff. So they are going to come out of this the right side, but they've got to make the decision for themselves on whether they can hang on after this period. Obviously, ones that can do click and collect, can do deliveries, are going to do okay. Ones that can't, obviously can take advantage of the furlough scheme and get some money in for things like that. So hopefully people won't lose their jobs over it, so they can hold their nerve. And the market should come back in January. So, and obviously if they're dealing in LCVs, that has remained strong and will probably remain strong for a while yet. We continue to put values up for LCVs.
Do you think we're going to see this pent-up demand in December?
There could be. Obviously, we've got Brexit around the corner. Brexit could lead to new car prices going up, which could then pull up used car prices. So there could be some opportunities to buy in December. And obviously there will be potentially a sort of a fallow period during the next few weeks when it's not so easy to go and buy a car, particularly if you want to test drive, things like that. That's still a little bit of a grey area on test driving. So there could be a little bit of demand, but it does tend to, people start to turn their attentions to Christmas and not be so active in the market in December. But Brexit may have a slightly different take on things this time around, because we're still not sure what will happen with Brexit, but tariffs could be put on new cars if there's a no-deal Brexit.
And how soon are you going to know what you need to do with pricing during this lockdown? I mean, when's your next update due, Derren?
We value cars daily, so we're looking today at what happened yesterday, what happened last week. We're taking a very sensible approach, and if there are some very cheap cars being sold in a very short period of time, then we won't be reflecting that. We'll be looking for a pattern. We'll be looking to see what all vendors are doing, but we're adjusting values now every day, and we'll be reviewing as we go. We'll keep the industry updated on what's happening with values as well. If sales did completely stop, if there was a more stringent lockdown, which I think is very, very unlikely, we can make that decision whenever we decide to through the month, that we will just pause things. But I think that's very unlikely. I think values will continue to happen based off the data that we're seeing. As I say, yesterday was a pretty strong day. You might have thought it would have dropped off following Saturday with everyone a little bit worried, but there are opportunities to go and buy some cars at the moment still, and there will still be consumers looking to buy.
So in terms of when you think you're going to have enough information on what that market looks like in lockdown, are we talking days, weeks?
We've got enough information. We know we've got enough information. I'm really confident. I was more worried when I woke up yesterday morning and thinking what is going to happen to the industry, from making some calls to retailers, speaking to the auctions, and my team have been doing that as well. We're supremely confident that, I mean, it's a very robust industry we work in. I think they're going to be continuing to buy cars through the auctions. The auctions are continuing to operate, and I think consumers will continue to buy, maybe in lower numbers. Maybe people will be a little bit more careful, but we're supremely confident we will have enough data. If we don't, we'll obviously make an announcement and decide not to move things. But I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I think there will be plenty of volume still going through, maybe slightly less than normal, but there will be enough volume out there. So we're making that decision on a daily basis, but there's no reason for concern on that.
Derren, thank you very much for the update. Please keep us posted on what happens. We'll obviously be reporting on it on Car Dealer Magazine, so please keep us up to date.
Will do.
Thanks, you.
James.
Thanks. Many thanks then to Derren there. If you want the latest on used car prices and the latest on what's happening in the market, log on to cardealermagazine.co.uk, click on the used car tab at the top of the page. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.